Rudeness. Rudeness. Something that should also be called public indecency. Rudeness. Has rudeness become the new style? What is going on? When you're out in public, at the grocery store, for example, and you're at the checkout, the self-checkout, where you check out stuff for yourself instead of being at the regular register. You're standing there checking out all your stuff, right? And some random guy walks up, and you're not even completely done. You've actually ringed up everything, right? And slid your card to pay for your stuff. And you grab your receipt. But right after, you're going to pick up all your bags, right? You're actually fumbling with your bags, trying to get them on your wrist so you can pick up and get carried away or whatnot to move on. But as you're fumbling with your bags, you're still at the register, right? And some guy comes up and he just starts checking out his stuff. That is so weird. That is so weird to me. He started checking out his stuff and you haven't even picked up your bags. Like, what type of people do that? Probably weird people that don't think. I'm thinking. I'm at the grocery store. I did everything that I just spoke on. And yet I didn't get a chance to grab all my bags up because I'm fumbling trying to put them on my wrist to get ready to walk out. But the register is still mine. And yet the guy, he walks up with his whole big old pack of water and just slams the water down on the register, that metal piece where the scanner sits up under. He slams his whole pack of water right on top of the scanner on my register and starts scanning it. And I'm not even done yet. And I look at him. Basically, I do this to people on purpose. I do this to people to test them out. So, as I'm constantly fumbling with my stuff, trying to get it all together, I'm looking at him. And I'm staring him up and down for him to give me eye contact. That was my purpose of staring him up and down, because I wanted him to know, why are you... Where is common courtesy at? What have we become as a nation? Like, yeah, we're related to animals, but when it comes to stuff like that, like, come on, man. That was my territory. And you just invaded. You just trespassed on my territory. I don't own the store, no, but at that time, in that moment, I owned the actual register. That didn't make sense. Sometimes people in life, they don't make sense to me. I mean, I know I've done things in the past, cut people off in traffic in the past, just different things you don't be thinking, but that man was standing right next to me. He was standing next to me like he was my blood family, like he was my cousin or something, or first, second cousin or immediate family. He was standing right in my personal space. We didn't even have a 3-foot divide. There was no 3-foot divide. He was standing close enough to step on my toes. He was standing close enough to take up all my breathing space. He probably was internally absorbing my air. That's how close we were. And yet he don't know my name, and yet I don't know his name. Strangest thing is, I know his face, and yet he does not know my face. Because he failed to look at my eyes. Our eyes didn't even meet. And yet I tested him out to try to get him to do that. Because I do that. That's what I do. When you do stupid things like that, I do things to test you out. Yet he never looked back. So, people wear their rudeness as if it's a style. Like, I'm all about being different. If you want to be different, give it a go. Because we're all weird. We're all different, despite what we've been told. But with that, you got to understand that people have personal space. We all have our personal space. You're carrying your home everywhere you go. Everywhere you walk, you're carrying your home. If you look at your body as a temple, then it is your home. If you look at your body as your castle, if you look at your body as I don't know, a Chevy, a Cadillac, however you view your body. Some people view their body as if it's a yacht, $1 million yacht. And all this is personal space once again. I just feel that it's rude to invade someone's space like that. I wouldn't want that done to me. I wouldn't want somebody to just say, move, get out my way. I got things to do. I got places to be. This is my register and my scanner. And just kick me over. Because all the while I was standing there thinking, what is this man thinking? But not only that, the sad part that made him look bad is he was not, you can tell he wasn't white. He looked like as if he was an immigrant or something. Not really Mexican, not really Arab, but somewhere in between. He looked like that. And that's not for me to pass judgment on. You be you or whatever, wherever you come from. But in me saying that, with him doing stuff like that, especially with him looking more Arab or more Mexican, he makes other immigrants look bad, if that's what he is. Because I've come across Mexicans and Arabs that actually act like that. They come all the way to America, leave their home and everybody else behind to come make a better life for themselves. And yet when they get here, they mistreat everybody around them. That's crazy. We're allowing you to come here to make a better way for yourself, and yet you kick us around. If that's the point, then go back home. And I know that sounds harsh, and I know that might hurt some feelings, but it is what it is. Why would I come from a land that has nothing and no opportunity and not enough resources for me to survive, and go into someone else's country and disrespect them and demean them? And act like when I'm standing there next to them that they don't exist. That's crazy. If that's the point, then you need to go back home. I'm sure that's probably how you got up. I'm sure that's probably why you ended up here. It's because that mentality is why you have nothing and didn't have nothing until you made it here. But just because you made it here don't mean that you have. Because remember, what's given can also be taken away, depending on how you treat others. I'm not against immigrants coming here. I just feel like we're overpopulated. And a lot of times, many of them, they come here with that attitude, I'm going to run you over. And they actually do. Many of them actually do run you over with their car and kill people. They have killed people. That mindset and that mentality, it has to be broken once they hit the soil. It has to be broken. If you're going to become an American, you fall in with the American mentality. And that means respecting others and respecting others people's space. You don't say, oh, well, I'm coming from a foreign land. I'm going to practice what I practice once I get over there. No, we have rules and laws here. You can't just step on me or step on my face because you came from where you came from. Because once again, you can go back. Go back to nothing. To come from nothing and leave and go to another land and try to obtain and carry that nothing mindset with you is to still end up with nothing. Because to not know how to treat others is to never attain anything. And that's what many of these immigrants or whatever they are coming here, that's what they don't understand. I'm an American. I was born and raised and groomed here. So I got America written all over me. So for you to just try to step on me like I'm scum of the earth or I'm under you because maybe my skin tone, maybe. Because what I notice with many of them is they actually treat white people better than they treat dark-skinned people. Which is crazy because many white people don't care nothing for them. They show the hatred for them on the TV. Racism, a lot of times you see on the TV. So many of these immigrants, or whatever you want to call them, they got to get from beyond themselves. They got to notice that we are living in a world. We not living over in the Middle East, and we're not living over in Mexico or wherever they're coming from. We're here in America. There's a respect policy. You respect others. The way I feel like many people need to be shipped back. That's the way I feel. And it's not trying to be mean or anything, but you got people that come here and they degrade, and they just bring that mentality of ruin. If you're not building, then you're ruining things. Got what I'm saying? If you are not a builder, then you are a destroyer. The two cannot coexist unless I'm already a builder and I'm trying to just destroy something to rebuild something else for betterment. You cannot I can't even get the word out. You can't even coexist being a builder and destroying, unless your motivation is to rebuild and continue to build and to be a builder. But to just have a destroyer mindset and carry that everywhere you go, and come from another land outside the Middle East, or come from Mexico or wherever, and then come here and build that destroyer and bring that destroyer mindset amongst people over here that's trying to build, that does not work. That's why oftentimes those type of people, or you, are oftentimes disliked. Because people with a builder mindset, they don't have time to sit amongst those that destroy. They just don't. You got what I'm saying? And the reason for that is, if I am a builder and I sit amongst those that destroy and they disrespect everything, they step on my toes just to step on my toes, just because they feel like they're arrogant because they come from an outside land, and they take it upon themselves to disrespect Americans. We don't go for that type of thing. Destroyers we get rid of. Destroyers we taint them on the news for what they are. You got what I'm saying? A lot of times that has happened. Certain races of people don't want to be tainted a certain way, but because the way that they behave on an everyday basis and treat others, that's why they're tainted on the news. They get what they deserve. You get what you deserve. If you mistreat people and blow up bombs on people and rape people's kids, and have people be doing identity theft type of stuff over in Mexico and other places, identity theft rings and all that. You do that type of people, best believe it ends up on the news, because it's a truth. And that's not saying all them groups of people is like that. No, I'm not saying that, because I know that white folks do stuff like that, and I know black folks do stuff like that. But once again, the destroyer mindset is the one that has no respect for people publicly. Why would you stand next to me and act like I'm not even there, and then push and shove me over to the side so that you can go ahead and do what you're doing? Why couldn't you wait? What is so important? Because many of these people that's coming over here, they were nothing before they came here. That's the funny part. They were nothing before they came here. And them coming here just made their arrogance a million times worse. Because they get here, they're not white. They're Arabs or they're Mexicans, and they're not white. But they document once they get here that they're white. They put on everything. Whether it's not voting registration, whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about when they ask you on different paperwork your race. A lot of them put white because they feel that they're white. And like a lot of times, white folks will be the first one to disown them. They don't want a part of that. Because white folks is too busy looking at how they carry themselves at home, in their homeland, and how they do destructive things. So when you stop acting like that as a group, people will respect you. But until then, they won't respect you. And for me, if you're coming here with that mindset of being a destroyer of can't respect my space, then I can't be bothered with you either. And once again, that's not all of them. That's not all Mexicans, and that's not all Arabs. Trust me, I got a few of Mexicans in the family, but they were born and bred here in America, so they know how to act, is what I'm saying. They know how to carry and present themselves in a way that doesn't make others feel less than. How do you come all the way over here and try to make other people feel less than, and you come from nothing? That's funny. That's a funny conversation. That is beyond. It's just beyond real. So I don't always practice treat people the way that they treat me, but sometimes I do. If they shove, I shove back. Because if you see me then less than, I see me just standing on your face. And that's what I do. I stand on your face. And sometimes I might say it and sometimes I might not. Sometimes it's best to let a fool be a fool by staying quiet and just looking them up and down. But I see why. I see, like, I marvel at very racist and different groups of people, like, because they're not the same as me. And I can respect that. We were all created differently for a purpose. We're not meant to be identical. But once again, I see why, like a lot of times with white people, not all white people, but I see why some of them have the mentality that if it's not their own race of people, they don't want to be bothered with. They don't want to be bothered with the Mexican or the Arab, and I see why. The more I get out and I be around and traveling out and about, I see why. I see why. I mean, when I'm out, I've encountered black women that a lot of times they don't want to speak to me. I can understand because I don't always wear this on my head. I actually wear my braids out when I'm like out in public or whatnot from time to time. And so I look more feminine than say what I look here on this camera. And I speak to black women. And a lot of times they don't speak. So many of them actually act like the Mexican and they act like the Arab, which is strange to me. Because so many of them say, oh, we're all one and the same. Oh, we're blood. Oh, we're family. Oh, Black Lives Matter. And as I'm speaking to you, it's showing all the while that Black lives don't matter. Because if it did, you would speak back. I'm going to make a video about that. I feel that's important. But white folks, the Jews, many of them that own the mass media, they present this tale of certain people because those certain people do in fact be carrying themselves that way. Not a large percentage. I mean, I could say maybe divided down the middle. Let's go 50-50% on each side. They could be black, and not all of them is robbing and committing crimes, right? And yet, the other 50% is Mexicans. 50%, many of them committing crimes, and yet the other 50% ain't. Whites, 50% of them racist, and then 50% ain't racist. The Jews, supposedly is a small number of them. They own the media, whatever. 50% of them scream about the Holocaust all day. That's they story. You know, we don't know completely what all is truth with them, and I just leave it at that. And then 50% you just don't know. You'll have to study and research into whatever with that. But yeah, rudeness. It serves no purpose. And I say that because what if one of those rude people that's treating you like this, or they mistreating you in public, they don't know you, right?
see, what if that person needs a organ, a transplant, blood transfusion? And what if one day they need that, and come to find out you were the same person they disrespected, and they remember your face, or you remember their face? You see what I'm saying? So it's only right to treat people right, especially who you're encountering for the first time. You never know how you might meet and greet again. So that's all to be said about that. Is rudeness the new style? Is it the end style? I'm believing that the more the population fill up on us, we're at 7.6 billion. I constantly quote that we're at 7.6 billion of people globally. Seems like the more people involved on this earth, this universe, the more people become desensitized in how they treat others. And that's where rudeness begins and takes a hold. Because sometimes you can deal with so many people on your level that you disrespect other people that you meet for the first time on various levels. Can't treat everybody like that. Never know what you might need in the near future. And situations like that have occurred, but that's basically all. Question that one. What is the cause of rudeness? Is it the new style? What do you think it leads to? What do you think could happen if all of us became super rude? That ain't even a word. Come super rude. If all of us became super rude, how would society or the globe overall be affected by that? What do you feel about rudeness? What I feel about rudeness? It should be put to shame unless it's served for whatever purpose. If it's building something, we live in a cutthroat environment, many people. But you gotta use everything right. You can't overdo everything. Like my mom says, it has to be balanced and all. So, yeah, rudeness. It shouldn't be the new style. No, it shouldn't. But I think it is.